hello, peaceful world. Here is another update from Ukraine from a perspective of every citizen, a young mom, a precious fur baby, our dogs, and whoever. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on Mia, of course, on what the situation with our electricity is, what the apprehensions are about the war future, and just a funny story, as always, because I'm a funny girl. So, Mia, my sunshine. Mia is our sunshine now. The app, the Wonder Weeks app, said that she should become sunshine of the house in about 3 weeks, but that came earlier. And today she was absolutely fabulous. And yesterday too, actually. We went shopping with her. We spent a lot of time at the mall, and she was just awesome. You know, we got her a winter jacket, a onesie, some toys for her and our friends, and a jacket for daddy. And it took us like 2 hours, and she was just fine. And last night, she was very clingy, so I mostly helped her throughout the night, but that's fine. You know, I'm used to it. And today she was just smiling so much in the morning. She was so happy to see me. And I did feel a bit hypocritical when that happened because, uh, you know, being to some extent traumatized by the expectations of my elderly relatives. I used to say that I will never have any expectations of Mia. She can do whatever. It is only my decision to bring her to this world, and she doesn't owe anything to me. And, you know, I'm going to be strong and keep my emotions to myself. Well, and then for a couple of days, she was not happy to see me. Not that she was unhappy, but she was not smiling when she saw me, and that was so sad. She kind of didn't care. She seemed not to care about my existence at all, and I was disappointed. But this morning, anytime I entered the room or just looked at her or talked to her, she smiled back and she seemed so happy, and she threw her hands around as if she wanted to hug me and even the man. So that was adorable. So Mia is fine. Mia is in the sunshine phase. I'm very happy about that. This situation with electricity is weirdly not bad. So yesterday was some kind of an experimental day when we had electricity all day long because they wanted to see what the consumption is and to test the system or whether it is able to, satisfy the needs of the city. And that went fine. Like there could have been some power cuts again in case of some difficulties, but we had a full day with electricity. And today, but yesterday was a Sunday, and obviously the consumption is lower. They are running the same test today. It's a Monday, and I hope it will go fine too. And maybe we'll go back to the old days. But I must say that power cuts stopped bothering us so much as soon as they became scheduled. If it is scheduled, it's fine. You can plan your day, and it's not that big of a deal. And I don't even know, how to use so much electricity. I just feel this chaotic freedom. Like, what? I can just go out and know that I will use the elevator. What? Then brings some novelty and freedom to my life. That is nice. The apprehensions about the war. My husband drives somewhere. Filterized cup again. Disappointing, guys. Disappointing. I want unicorns and rainbows in my cars. Again, privileged problems. So there is this opinion of some, war military experts. There are so many of them these days, but this one makes sense to me. And it is the following. Currently, Russia is just pretending kind of to run this war. So for them, this is a warm-up phase. They're just trying to wear us out and then truly attack later when we have no people, when we have no weapons. And while weapons are being sent and will be sent even, I believe, potentially. But with people, it's a tremendous issue because we have very few people compared to Russia, and they don't care about their people like at all. This is just meat. This is just a resource in the cheapest meaning of this word. And this sucks so much. And once I heard that opinion, it made me really upset because it makes so much sense to me. They have the resources to do it, and we don't. And the longer it lasts, uh, the more likely my people are to join the army. And this is my selfish interest. I do not know any professionally military people, and I understand the idea that like citizens, in certain circumstances, whoever they are, have to join the army. I understand it. I'm not like arguing that. But this is not what you want for a person who did not choose military as his career, occupation, passion, or whatever. And I know so many men who are not apt for this job, you know. So this makes me very unhappy. But that's just, one of the ideas. Nobody knows what can really happen and what can change the course of this war. But this idea just makes so much sense to me and adds a lot of anxiety. That's bad. That's really bad. But yeah, thinking of the war, fears, and the things I am afraid of, people are afraid of. I just had a hilarious, oh my god, this head does look ridiculous, doesn't it? I have this taste for ridiculous things. I like ridiculous things. This man says that my love for ridiculous things explains my love for Charlie. I guess he is right. But this is, oh my god, okay. It is so ridiculous that I just have to have it. Like that point, I can, that makes it even worse. Whatever. So yeah, fears, war, emotions, and the funny situation from last weekend. Last Saturday we went to see my husband's grandmother, Mia's great grandma, and unfortunately she is not in great health. She has dementia. She no longer recognizes like anyone, maybe even herself. And I have very mixed feelings about this trip in general. It's a depressing experience for me. I remember her. I have very fond memories of her. I used to spend a lot of time at her house. We had a lot of parties there. She was always very understanding and welcoming and hospitable. She was just, amazing. And seeing her in this state, it's a long story. Family, there's a lot of family mess. I do not like the way her situation is handled, but it's not up to me or his man or even his dad. It's a complicated misunderstanding between two brothers, her sons. So she's not living her best years now, and she cannot recognize anyone. And I did not want to get even more depressed by facing it, because I try to stay upbeat, so that I have breast milk, and it's hard to explain, but I had my reasons. I did not want to go, but we went there in a very strange company. So it was my brother-in-law, his wife, their baby, who's almost 1 year old now, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, who is actually not my father-in-law wife anymore. So she's her ex for many years. They divorced like 20 years ago, but somehow she wanted to join us on this adventure. I don't know how that's any of her business, but okay, I have my complicated story with her. My husband, of course, and me and I. And so as we were approaching that area, coming to that house, it turned out that we needed to go down and then, back up a slope, uh, which looked too dangerous. And you have to know one thing. I'm afraid of three things with dentists. These are bugs, insects, and these are slopes. And so the moment I saw that slope and I realized that I would have to somehow descend it, my baby, with a stroller or without, I felt this incredible rush of adrenaline. My heart started racing. I felt that I was already on the verge of some mortal danger. And I started shouting, like, no, that's not gonna happen. I did not subscribe to this. What the fuck is going on? Are you fucking nuts? And this is not my proudest moment. I never swear in front of my family. I think I swore once accidentally in front of my father-in-law because of the war. That's it. Like, in general, I can, keep my mouth shut and control my vocabulary. That was not the situation. I totally lost it. And I felt so hysterical. I was shivering and I was running back and forth like, no fucking way. I'm not gonna let my child die. If somebody drops my child on this slope, he's gonna die. And it was emotional. It was intense. And I said that they would have to test it first to assure me that it was in general possible to walk there. And fortunately, we had been warned about the slippery slope, and Sven and I have these incredible shoes which are not slippery at all. And we put them on, so we were well prepared. And Sven said that in our shoes it was totally fine. It was not slippery. We could walk safely, normally, and everything was going to be fine. This was not the case for my brother-in-law, who was just gliding and sliding down, catching branches along the path. That was funny, but again, dangerous. So, uh, what I liked in that situation is how calm my husband was. He just approached me and told me, honey, it's gonna be fine. I tested it. We're not gonna drop the baby. Nobody's gonna die. We can do it. And he was so calm and cool that I was like, okay, let's give it a go. And we did it, and everything was fine. She was in the stroller on our way down, and then on our way up, I was carrying her actually. One was pushing the stroller through the snow and all of this sleet, and everybody survived. Nobody died. But what was interesting in that situation, like how emotional I got, uh, and especially compared to the many other situations in which we have been over the last years. Like when it's the beginning of the war, 21st, 4th of February, we hear these bomb explosions in our neighborhood. And his brother is calling us saying, oh, my wife is about to give birth. Would you please give us a lift to the maternity home? And I was like, oh, honey, okay. So you go give them a lift, and I have my emergency luggage ready. I can just pack a few more, jeans or t-shirts for you. Do you have a preference? Okay, good luck. Bye-bye. See you soon. And I'm fine, I'm totally cool, stress resistant. Nothing is gonna shake me. I can do it, you know. Or another situation, like last weekend, I grabbed some coffee and a piece of cake for Sven. We were walking on the street, and the cake was packed in a beautiful little cardboard box. We put the cake in the stroller, in the basket below the crib. But it was a very, very windy day. It was so windy that it could push the stroller, but it actually got the box with the cake out of the carrier, and it just flew out. The box turned into a beautiful bird. I don't know. And the cake landed on the ground. Sven decided that it would be a waste to just leave it there. And since the cake, the piece of the cake was also wrapped in some plastic, he decided to eat it anyway, despite the mess. So he picked it up, and we have this coffee. And his coffee cup was too full, and it was spilling. And of course, it's hot coffee, a wind here in our face, the cake, sticky cake. The cream from the cake is all over his man's hands. The coffee is all over his man's hands. I'm trying to get some tissues. He drops the tissue because it is so windy. The stroller is almost riding away. I don't know. And there are so many things going on at the same moment. And I'm like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh my God, this is such a funny situation. Oh, here's another tissue for you, honey. Don't worry, it's gonna be fine. This is just an interesting, unpleasant experience. I'm totally fine. But when it comes to three things, dentists, insects, or slopes, zero rationale, no logic, no adequacy left. This is a very interesting way, my brain works. I understand my irrational fear of dentists and insects. It's a phobia thing. It's not just a fear. It's really phobia with zero control, even though I understand everything intellectually. Emotionally, these are two different experiences. I am completely dissociated from my body. It's awful. But, with the war, we're gonna make it. So stupid, I don't understand the slopes though. I never had, not to my recollection, I don't remember ever having some bitter experience with the slope. Like, I do have a very, very bad vestibular system apparatus, I must say. So, like, I get dizzy even from looking at the slope, even when I'm away from it. Like, and when we walk in some parks and forests, I cling to man in very not dangerous situations. And he's always like, are you picking this up? Like, woman, come on, this is not a hill even. But I do feel very shaky. So, which is again very, very funny because I used to be a rhythm gymnast, with ribbons and balloons and gloves and whatever. Did not help me much. Or another question is, how bad would I be now if I hadn't had that training? Who knows? Maybe I would be even clumsier. This is the question. So yeah. Slopes, dentists, and insects. I'm glad that we're not having this war against insects, slopes, or dentists. Then I would not stand a chance. But a bunch of, some stupid Russians, maybe I do sense, or maybe not. I don't know. What if some of them are dentists? So yeah, these are our days. The nights are, basically the same. Very huggy with me, but it's fine. She is woken up. My honey poo. Maybe she's gonna fall back to sleep. Yeah, I think she's gonna try. I hope so. So yeah, that's it. Seeing me as wonderful eyes took my thoughts away. So I guess I'm gonna stop here. I'll show you some ducks and seagulls right there behind me. Cuteness. That is a beautiful morning. It is sunny, so this fun reason to be happy today. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.